And here are your solutions to problems 23 through 29. Number 23, which number is a multiple? If you remember what multiples are, that's just like skip counting by that number. So that would be like 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, hadn't hit one of these numbers yet, 48, 54, 60, still haven't, 66, 72, 72, 78, 84. Now you can see I've passed this number, and this number, so those aren't multiples. So really the only logical choice, I really don't even need to go further than that. So I know my answer is 96. It's not because it ends in 6, because not all numbers ending in 6 is a multiple of 6. It is because when I skip count by 6, I'll end up with 96. Let's just be sure. That would be 90, 96. Okay. Those are my multiples. If you wanted a faster way, multiple is like multiply. So if I did 6 times 10 first, I would be all the way to 60. So I could have skipped all these to 60 and then counted on from 60. 66, and so forth. 72, 78, and so forth. So 2 ways you could have done that. Let's go to 24. One number has 4 thousands, 12 hundreds, and 0 tens. Another number has 4,600s and 5 tens. Which choice correctly compares? So before I can compare the numbers, I need to know exactly how much that is. So I'm going to write these amounts. So I have 4 times 1,000, 4 thousands, which is equal to 4,000. I also have 12 hundreds. So that's 12 times 100 is equal to 1,200. And then no tens. Okay? So this total amount is 5,200. Let's go to the other one. I also have 4 times 1,000, which is 4,000. I also have 6 times 100, which is 600. And then I have 5 tens, which is 5 times 10, which is 50. Okay? If I add those up, that's 0. 6 plus 5, not 6 plus 5. 5 plus 0, 5. 6 plus 0, 6. So this amount is 4,650. This is 5,200. So any of these that don't have those two numbers, we can mark off because we can't compare them. This does not have 5,200 in it. This does not have 5,200 in it. These two do. So I've got 5,200 in here and here. But my other number is 4,650. So this would be the correct answer. All right, let me erase this and we'll go on to the next one. That's a very good EOG type problem right there dealing with place value. Do you know your place values? 25. We've had this one before. The bakery sold 37,580 bags of cookies in the first year. So again, my information in the first year, I want to label that 37,580. During the second year, the bakery sold 5,000 more than the first year. So I'm going to need the first year's amount plus 5,000 more. Okay. That's how I'll get the second year. So let's see what it is they're looking for. We want to know the total number of bags of cookies for the first 2 years. So I need to know the first year and I need to know the second year. And then afterwards, I'm going to round it to the nearest thousand. So if I add 37,000 plus 5,000, this amount would be 42,580. And this one is still 37,580 because this is my first year, and then there's my second years with it. Okay. 0, 8 plus 8, 16. Carry my 1. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 1 more makes 11. Regroup, 7, 8, 9, 10. Regroup, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Now it also wants us to round our answer to the nearest thousand. So there's my thousands place. The 0 there. The digit to the right is 1, so we're not over halfway to the next thousand. So this we keep the 0 the same. And zeros for placeholders, and of course everything to the left stays the same. So C is the correct answer. All right, moving on. Let me erase that. Okay. 26, this is a good one. Which choice is equal to 2.5? You haven't had this yet, so maybe you looked that up. So I know there's my decimal point right there. The decimal point tells me where my place values are on the left. This is my ones. On to the first digit to the right, these are tenths. So these are parts of a whole that we can show in our place value system without having to write the fraction bar. So these are tenths, okay? So how many ones do I have? I have 2 wholes, and I have 5 tenths. Okay? Now, I know I've got over a whole, so A is a ridiculous answer, okay? Because that's less than a whole. Now I see 2, 2, and 5 halves, 2 and 1/5, 2 and 4 tenths. So this is 2 and 5 tenths, so I know it can't be 2 and 4 tenths. And 5 tenths is equal to a half. So I'm going to rewrite this and rename this as 2 1/2, because that's the same amount, because 5 tenths is the same thing as equivalent to 1/2. So now, I know it can't be 2 and 1/5, because 2 and 1/5, 1/5 is not equal to a half. So let's look at this thing here, 5 halves. Well, if I had 5 halves and I modeled it, so here I go, 1/2, I draw some more halves, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves, and 5 halves. So now, if I combine these halves, how many halves does it take to make a whole? It takes 2. So if I were to take this piece right here and move it there, that's made 1 whole. Everything's gone out of that. If I take this and move it here, now I have another whole, so that's 2 wholes. Okay. And then I have 1/2 left. So I've made 2 wholes and 1/2. Okay. Is that the same amount as what we're looking for? It sure is. So D is the correct answer. Okay. Going on to number 27. Sue has 10 gallons of water. How many quarts of water? So again, if you remember about gallon land, and we're dealing with gallons and quarts. So how many queens did it take to rule gallon land? 4. So we know there are how many quarts in 1 gallon? 4. So if I had 10 of them, that would be saying like 10 groups of 4 quarts is 40 quarts. Okay, which is D. Okay, all right. Let's go on to the next one. Excuse me. 28. The lengths and widths of 4 rectangles are shown below. Which rectangle has a perimeter of 20? So we've got 4 rectangles. I'm just going to draw a rectangle so I can have a good picture. And it wants to know the perimeter. And if you remember perimeter is the distance all the way around. So if we started on one corner and traveled all the way around it and came back to where we started, right here, that is the perimeter. So let's put in some measurements here and then find out. So if the length is 10, And if the width is 10, now remember, we're finding the distance around, so all I need to do is add up all the sides. So now if I know this side is 10, this side is 10, and this side is 10, so now I can do some counting. So if I start here, 10, 20, 30, 40. No, we're looking for a perimeter of 20. See, they tried to trick you because you just wrote down 2 tenths, but remember, perimeter is all the way around. So let's look at B. Okay? If B, I'll draw my rectangle, if the length is 9 and the width is 1, so that means this side is 9 and this side is 1. So let's add them up again. Let's start. So that's 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 9 more is 19, plus 1 more makes 20. So there's our perimeter right there. Remember, when we had some formulas, you should have noticed you could have added 9 plus 1 and then double that. So 9 plus 1 and then double that. So 9 plus 1 and then times it times 2. And 10 times 2 gives us 20. Or you could have added the 2 lengths. So 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And we were still getting the same thing. 2 times the length, 2 times 9 is 18, and 2 times the width is 1 is 2, and 18 plus 2 is 20. Okay. Moving on to the last one. The sum of the measures of the 3 angles in a triangle is 180. So all 3 of these added together, because that's what sum means. Sum means to add. What is the measure of one angle in an equilateral triangle? Now we've just touched on an equilateral. The hint is right in that word. All the sides are equal and all the angles are equal. So therefore, the total number of all these together, and I'm going to call this angle A, angle B, and angle C. So if I know that angle A plus angle B plus angle C must equal 180, and they all must be the same amount. So basically, we're going to split this 180 up 3 ways. Okay? So 180 divided by 3. What's the largest amount? Can't do hundreds. I could do 60, because 3 times 6 is 18, and put my 0. So 180. That leaves none left. So each angle has to be 60 degrees. If you didn't know, you could have just added each one of these for if you said the angle's 30, so 30, 30, 30, that's only 90. 90, 90, 90 is 270, and 120, 120, 120 is 360. Okay, good. Raise your hand if you don't understand any of my explanations. Make sure you check it with your work.